Part 2. The Room That Was Never Cleaned. 3 months after the motel closed, I got a call from one of the detectives. He asked if I'd be willing to come in and answer a few more questions. I assumed they still hadn't identified the man. I was wrong. The detective placed a photo of room 18 on the table. It looked exactly how I'd remembered it. The dirty dishes, the blood, the clothes scattered everywhere. Then he pointed toward the bed. "Do you remember anything unusual about the mattress?" I shook my head. It looked normal. He nodded. "That's because nobody lifted it." He slid another photo across the table. The mattress had been flipped over. Underneath it, someone had cut a large rectangular hole into the wooden bed base. It wasn't obvious unless you lifted the mattress. Inside the compartment were dozens of plastic bags, each one covered in dried blood. I felt sick. The detective told me forensic teams spent 2 full days processing the room. There were fingerprints everywhere. None matched the name the guest had used to check in. It was fake. The driver's license was fake. Even the credit card he'd shown at check-in belonged to someone who'd been reported missing months earlier. Then the detective asked, "Did you notice the security cameras weren't working?" I actually laughed. "They were always broken." He stared at me. "No, they'd been cut. Someone had climbed onto the roof behind the motel and deliberately severed every cable connected to the cameras covering rooms 15 through 20. Not smashed, not damaged, professionally cut. Whoever stayed in room 18 knew exactly which cameras to disable." I asked the question that had been bothering me for months. If there was that much blood, where was the body? The detective didn't answer. Instead, he handed me another photo. It showed the parking lot the morning I found the room. A timestamp in the corner read 5:14 a.m. There, parked 2 spaces away from room 18, was a red suitcase, the same one they'd asked us about. I stared at it. "I don't remember seeing that." "You weren't supposed to." He zoomed in. The suitcase wasn't being rolled by the guest. It was being carried by another man, someone who had entered the motel less than an hour before I arrived for work. No reservation, no check-in, no face visible, just black gloves, a baseball cap, and the red suitcase. Then the detective quietly said something I'll never forget. "We don't think he was helping the guest." He paused. "We think he was cleaning up after him." I felt my stomach twist. I asked if they'd ever found the second man. The detective slowly shook his head. "No." Then he leaned forward. "But 2 weeks ago, he placed one final photograph on the table. It was taken at another motel, in another state. Room 18.